How will the U.S. presidential election result affect relations with Russia and China? The 2024 U.S. presidential election will not only have a profound impact on U.S. politics but also have the potential to reshape global issues, especially the far-reaching impact on relations with Russia and China. Analysts are presenting scenarios in which the new administration in Washington will decide how the U.S. will deal with international hotspots, from the Russia-Ukraine conflict to tensions with China. According to CNN, China is watching every move of the U.S. presidential election while its experts do not expect much improvement in US-China relations, regardless of who wins. Analysts believe that Washington will still maintain a policy of containing China's rise, regardless of whether it is Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. China may issue bonds to stimulate the economy. Wu Xinbo, director of the Center for American Studies at Fudan University, pointed out that both candidates see China as a top strategic rival. Whether under Harris or Trump, the U.S. policy of containing China will not change much. No matter who wins, tensions will continue, Wu said. Professor Shi Yinhong at Beijing's Renmin University said Harris may continue Biden's previous strategy, such as maintaining restrictive measures against China, especially in the technology and military fields, but will maintain dialogue to avoid conflict. On the contrary, if Trump is re-elected, he could cause greater instability due to his unpredictable foreign policy approach, including the possibility of imposing more sanctions or tough tariffs on Beijing. Economists have previously analyzed the impact of Trump and Harris's tax policy proposals on China. Trump has proposed imposing import tariffs of up to 10 to 20% on all goods entering the U.S., and up to 60% on China. Trump has also proposed a 200% tariff on cars from Mexico to protect the domestic auto industry. Although Trump has insisted that the tax hikes will not cause inflation, many economists disagree. They point out that his tax hikes in 2018 have put most of the cost on American consumers. Economist Kimberly Clausing published a study showing that if Trump's new tax policy is applied, an American household could have to pay an additional $2,600 per year. Joe Bruce, chief economist at consulting firm RSM, warned, "The first principle of economic management is to do no harm." However, Trump's policies risk pushing the U.S. into recession. In another development, China is not only watching the results of the U.S. presidential election but also making contingency plans if Donald Trump is re-elected. According to Reuters, Chinese officials are considering a plan to issue more than 10,000 billion yuan, about 1,400 billion US dollars, of bonds to stimulate the economy. Experts say that if Trump wins the election, the scale of this stimulus package could be significantly expanded. The reason is that Beijing predicts that Trump will continue to apply economic pressure, from raising taxes to embargoing technology, to curb China's rise. Two opposing paths towards Russia and Ukraine. Expert Thomas Graham from the Council on Foreign Relations said that Trump is confident in his ability to quickly resolve the conflict, but Putin's tough stance will not change easily. If Trump reduces aid to Ukraine and reduces the U.S. role in NATO, Russia could exploit this vulnerability to sow division in the West. Harris, on the other hand, would maintain the same level of support for Ukraine as under Biden, but lack the resources to help Kiev turn the tide on the battlefield. According to expert John Locke of the Chatham House Institute, Russia's goal is not limited to Ukraine but also to weaken the US's international role. If Trump makes concessions to Russia, this could be seen by China as a sign of U.S. weakness, a paradox when Trump has always been tough on the threat from China, Locke warned. Moreover, Trump's policy of cutting aid could put Ukraine in a difficult position, especially as Russia increases its troops and modernizes its equipment to prepare for the coming harsh winter. While Harris could continue to provide support, the current level of aid is not enough to help Ukraine turn the tide of the war. Locke predicted the war could be long, low intensity but sustained, causing heavy losses for both sides. Trump could impose a freeze on the conflict, forcing Ukraine to the negotiating table under unfavorable terms, Donoghue said. Trump has repeatedly vowed to end the conflict in Ukraine within a day if he is re-elected. The former U.S. president called Putin a genius when Moscow launched the special military operation and most recently praised the Russian president as smart on October 25. This has raised concerns about U.S. support for Ukraine if Trump returns to the White House. Trump has shown a strong preference for Russia over Ukraine in both words and actions, said Robert Ortt, a professor of international affairs at George Washington University, told Newsweek. But Trump's policies are contrary to traditional American national interests and will be met with a strong backlash from all sides of the political spectrum and from the intelligence and national security communities, Ortung said. After their September meeting in New York, former President Trump said he had a good relationship with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, but he also reiterated his warm relationship with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Simon Schlegel, a senior Ukraine analyst at the International Crisis Group, said Trump has made it clear he wants to resolve the conflict quickly and could initiate talks between Russia and Ukraine even before he takes office if he wins. All of this is very worrying for Ukraine, Schlegel said. The Ukrainian people know that there is no easy way out and that the Ukrainian government will have to make some very painful decisions that the Zelensky administration is not good at, and that will be necessary if Trump wins. There is still a glimmer of hope for Ukraine if former President Trump is re-elected. For example, if Trump tries to negotiate with Putin and fails, then Trump could turn completely pro-Ukraine, Schlegel added. A lot of Ukrainians are counting on Trump's unpredictability, and also because it is unclear what the election of Kamala Harris will mean for Ukraine.